Women, what is something creepy that guys do without noticing? Guy at my school I noticed, if he's in front of me walking and sees me, he'll slow down so I can pass him. I tested this last week by slowing down as he slowed down. We both practically stopped walking entirely. I told him to stop staring at my ass, he's not slick. His face went red. Edit. To clarify, because I keep getting comments about it, it's not the looking at my ass that bugs me. I look at guys too. It's staring or changing your course to get a better look that I have an issue with. If I see a hot guy and go out of my way to look at him some more, then I'm being a creep. If I look and keep going as normal, that's not creepy. That's my concern with this guy. He's making it a habit to alter his path to stare at me some more. I work for Dollar General, so pretty much every old man who makes a semi-sexual or flirty comment to be nice. Examples from personal experience. 1. Are you ready to check out, sir? What? Oh, yes. I'm always ready. Ready to stay. Ready to go home. Especially if it's with someone as pretty as you. 2. I had accidentally gotten dust from my boots onto my chest after holding the part of the little step stool I stand on against me. Instead of nicely telling me, a man says, still staring at my chest, if anyone is staring at your nice big boobs, it's because of all of the dust. 3. Which was just rude anyhow. I was stocking the little end cap in front of the register. Soda coolers. One of my already creepy regulars come in. I'll be right with you. Walking towards me, looking me up and down. No, you can stay right there. They are all aware I'm 18. They're all literally as old as my father. Edit. I'd like to also say my dad is 53. Everyone's saying I'm calling people 34 to 40 old. In my mind I'm not. Honestly, 34 to 40-year-olds treat me the best. But honestly, if you're 36 and telling an 18-year-old behind the counter you want to take her home, you're still a perv. Edit 2. Yes, I know anyone of any age can be a creep. However, I've only had problems with older men, 60 plus. I have a guy, I think 22 to 23, my coworkers think may have a slight crush on me, but is too awkward or maybe slower. Lot of evidence he's slightly autistic, but even with his maybe crush he knows how to treat another living person respectfully. Telling a young woman who is helping you / ringing you up that she's hot, comment on her boobs / butt and would like to take home is disrespectful. Yes, people are allowed to find anyone of any age attractive, but you definitely don't do it creepily. My point of the whole old enough to be my father is heavily referring to that their children are either my age or older, probably even having grandchildren near my age, and these men are talking to me as if I'm just an object. The fact that they have children my age or higher and they are purposely being openly talking about how they want to fuck me is creepy and unnerving. I find the lead singer from Simple Plan sexy, over twice my age, and I'd bang him in a second, but would I ever say that to his face? Absolutely not. What's the difference in these two instances? Edit 3. Stop fucking messaging me asking if I think my father is sexy and if I'd have sex with him. No. He's my dad. Don't try to make a point in saying, since I don't find my dad ugly, I can't get mad at older men hitting on me. That older men can be attractive to younger women. Why the hell are you sick fucks even asking me these questions? It's disgusting. Yes, older men can be attractive, but for the love of God I'm his child. Staring. I get it, guys are going to check women out. All people are checking each other out. But I've noticed that some guys have a habit of turning checking out into staring for just a bit too long. Don't make prolonged eye contact in the mirror at the gym with strange women. It can get weird pretty fast. I look constipated half the time when I lift weights, not really looking to bat my eyelashes in return. The whole telling a woman to smile thing. You may think it's cheeky and charming, but it's not. It's rage-inducingly cringe-worthy and irrational and rude. You have no idea how my day / life is going. I do not owe anyone a facial expression, and if I sat on the train / walked around with a massive grin on my face I'd look like a psycho. Stop buying me stuff and then refusing to stop when I ask them to. Nothing ever comes for free, and when they inevitably try to make a move somehow I'm the rude heartless bitch that was taking advantage of them and leading them on. I explicitly asked them to stop buying me stuff, then had to move to actually throwing it away in front of them. They never got the hint and turned this into my fault for sending mixed signals. Fuck off with this. Call me a pet name like sweetheart, honey, etc. when we are just acquaintances or strangers. I understand that some girls may not mind it, and I know this is carried over from a generation when times were different, but it just makes me feel like I'm just a pair of tits to you, and not the intelligent human being that I am. I used to work in a department store on the checkouts and the returns desk, and there were two things I noticed men doing. The first thing was that they'd stare really hard at my name tag, which just so happened to be pinned to my shirt in an area where you shouldn't be staring at if you're a polite person. The shirt had a reinforced section there for pinning your name tag. They'd try to make it more acceptable by saying something like, "And how is your day going?" Twilight rumblings, but go from talking normally to dragging my name out awkwardly long. Not only did women not do this, sometimes they'd be looking at me from behind the man and giving a sympathetic look. The second would happen more when I was telling them that their refund couldn't be done, but they'd step real close to the counter and lean forward, so they were looming over me. No woman ever did this. In 3 years of working the returns desk and labby, men did this at least once a day. Reddit. I actually forgot one of the creepiest things that used to happen to me. I worked in a call center doing customer service for insurance, and you know what used to happen regularly? So regularly the other female consultants would laugh and warn newbies. Men would ask us out over the phone without ever seeing us. I had one man offer to fly me across the country just to come meet him. Ironically, his credit card declined on his insurance payment. I had multiple men ask for my Facebook page or phone number. Several persisted, even after I told them it's company policy that I'm not allowed to give out my last name, or just straight up that I wasn't comfortable giving them that information. Not to mention, I was in a sales-based position and my job was to make our customers happy. I had to be polite as possible in trying to turn their attention away from me personally, or I'd risk them getting angry and giving me a bad review score, and bad review scores affected my chance at promotion and bonuses. If you ask a girl out and she conveniently has an excuse not to, and this happens multiple times, stop asking. She's being polite and you're not getting the hint. It's really not cool to ask someone out while they're at work too. I'm not into you. I'm being paid to care/be nice. When you tell them you don't want to do something and they try to convince you to do it and sometimes pressure you. For example, he will ask you, "Do you want to grab something to eat?" You say, "No, you're good." Then he will be like, "Oh come on, I'm sure you're hungry. It's just food." You will say again that you are fine and not hungry. He will say, "Are you sure?" Rinse and repeat. I understand wanting to get clarification, but my final answer is final. I don't want to be convinced. It's not cute to be annoyingly persistent to convince me to eat, go to the movies, or find unicorns. When you've made every non-verbal signal that you aren't interested, and they approach you anyway or just linger around staring. If I'm avoiding eye contact, cross my arms/frown, or if I see you approaching and move or change my direction, I'm not interested. This happens especially with guys in their 50s 70s at my gym. I make it very obvious I'm not interested and then try to shut down the conversation. That happens inevitably anyway, but they just keep talking and then trail you, still talking, if you're trying to physically remove yourself from their presence. I used to have a bunch of guy friends in high school and they'd talk about what they fantasized doing to the other girls at school. Didn't think much of it then, but it seems so gross now. Like they're just walking past, doing their thing. They would be so uncomfortable if they knew you were mentally undressing them. IDK, do all guys do that? Eavesdropping on conversations, just to get an in to start talking. This weekend my friends and I went to a bar and were waiting in line to order our drinks. One of our friends had gone to the bathroom and was going to meet us in line. The friend I was standing with and talking to said something to the effect of, "I wonder what Lauren wants me to order her." During our conversation, when Lauren approaches, the guy that was standing behind us says, "Oh, you must be Lauren," even though we haven't talked to him at all. He then starts asking us all where we are from and trying to small talk. This doesn't make you seem attentive, it makes you seem creepy and desperate. when they try to seduce you by saying I have this, I have that, I'm rich, I can provide for you, and you can have anything you want etc. I'm just like tfo I provide for myself and have a better paid job than you. I've only experienced this with Eastern European men though. I suppose they are trying to be macho or something but it just comes off as sleazy and cheap. Standing too close and touching my hair without consent. I work retail and these are the two things guaranteed to piss me off and make me feel uncomfortable. I constantly have guy customers standing too close while asking me questions. If I can't fully extend my arm without touching you, you're too close. And I understand not everyone has as big of a personal bubble as I do. So I'm not immediately angry if you're just standing too close. But when I take a half step back to give myself some breathing room and they take a full step forward and end up closer than before, I get really creeped out. Especially when they start to lean in. Like, I'm not quiet, my coworker can hear me 3 aisles away trying to tell you where the freaking taco seasoning is kept. Stop leaning in. And the touching my hair thing. Don't do it. Whenever I change my haircut, color or style I invariably have men touching it. Girls squeal and tell me it's pretty then ask to touch it, and don't push it if I say no. Guys, customers, or coworkers, just reach out and touch it. I appreciate compliments, I really do, but why do you have to be touching my hair to tell me how nice it looks? Gym coaching. I'm a guy and I go to the gym regularly. I've seen a few men working out with women partners where they are obviously coaching them by keeping their hands on the woman's waist or somewhere else on her body while she goes through the motion of her exercise. Like, I really don't think she needs you to have your hands on her waist while she performs weight assisted pull-ups and you don't need to stand behind her and hold her while she does squats. I don't think they mean to, but some guys are a bit too much in your personal space / touchy-feely which can make women a bit uncomfortable. A guy I work with sits on my desk when he asks me a question, so he's like inches away from me, and sometimes if he's talking to me, he'll put his hand on my shoulder. It's just him being friendly, but it makes me feel a bit squirmy, but I don't feel it's big enough to bring up. Also once at a party a guy I was talking to casually, not flirty or anything, just where do you work, where are you from etc, put his hand on my thigh. It was very that scene in The Office when Toby puts his hand on Pam's leg. I know it depends on the individual, but I think even non-sexual touching can be intimate, and maybe being self-aware about what that woman might feel about it, even if it's completely friendly and innocent, is important. I was coming down the stairs outside my apartment in a cute sundress that showed a little cleavage and a guy walking from my right to left stared at me the entire time, even turning his head to very obviously stare at me. And people always ask why I usually wear baggy t-shirts and jeans. Not a woman, but I guess hover guys. Like she is in a bar and there is one guy watching her from the distance. Feeling his stare she moves to another place in the establishment. Guess who will be close by to her new location? Yes, that guy. To be fair, that guy is probably not trying to be a creep. He likely is just very shy and struggling to make a move. He always finds excuses like, oh she is talking to friends right now, better not interrupt. His indecisiveness and shyness keeps him in a state between approaching and not approaching, which makes him appear creepy. It's super creepy the way a lot of guys feel obligated to touch and stare at you. I'm in high school and already I faced a lot of this. In middle school, there used to be a guy who constantly stared at my boobs and my ass. If he wasn't doing anything else, that's what he was doing. It was very demeaning. This other time, I was standing with one hand at my hip talking to my friend when he suddenly looped his arm around mine and twirled me. Completely scared the shit out of me. I asked him about what the fuck he was doing, and he actually said, oh sorry, I didn't realize I just did that. What, did a ghost possess you all of a sudden and force you to do that? Don't give me your bullshit. As I'm typing I'm remembering more things about him. He had a nickname for me that I absolutely hated, but that's what he would call me. I'm getting mad just thinking about it. The fact that there are a lot more instances like this with different people of different ages starting from elementary school is just sad. Telling me how my hair should be longer. Don't cut it any shorter, honey, they say with a smile. This is not isolated. This happens all the time. And every time it happens, I make an appointment for the hairdresser and cut it even shorter. Maybe eventually I'll just shave it off and blame it on strange men telling me how to style my hair. My sister who passed away has one that'll tell for her since she is no longer able to tell the story. My sister was a worker at Waffle House. She has pretty big boobs. She told me one day that as she was leaving her work, wearing her normal clothes, a guy was walking up, a rather short and very fat old man. My sister was only 5'4" and this guy must have been 5'2". She holds the door open as she exits. He stops, looks directly at her face, then instantly his face is inches from her chest, and he says thank you to her boobs. She, being polite, says you're welcome. Then he looks up at her face, then back down at her chest that he is uncomfortably close to, and says oh dear god, lem take you into my truck. She declines his offer. He looks up again at her face and then back down at her chest and repeats oh dear god. She walked away, letting the door hit the guy.